describing distributions and data. So I have two different ways to show data up here. So I have a dot plot and a histogram. And we're going to be looking at dot plots and histograms today. And you are going to be identifying them and describing them. You're going to be identifying different parts. So I want to tell you about some different parts. If you guys look, our very first word up here is what?
Cluster.
It's what?
Cluster.
Cluster. So a cluster, it's a group of data where all the points are close together. So I want you guys just to look at this dot plot first. It's fish that were caught. And we're looking for data that is kind of grouped together. Caden's raising his hand. I want you guys to look up here. Do we see a cluster of data anywhere? It's data that is clumped together. Whisper to your neighbor, where do you think that this cluster would be?
1, 2, 4.
Hey, I need all eyes up here in 3, 2, 1, and 0. You're going to tell me yes or no. Are you ready? You're going to tell me, is this part of the cluster, yes or no? 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
No.
8.
No.
Ooh, what is 8 actually? It's not part of the cluster. What is 8 called? Tell me.
Outlier.
Yeah, it's an outlier, okay? So this is our cluster right here. It's 1 through 4. 8 is our outlier. So in our math journals right now, where it says clusters, fish, because we're talking about fish, our clusters, we decided our clusters are between 1 and 4. Okay, so go ahead and write that down. And then, my next word that I have up here is gap. Okay, a gap, it's an interval that has no data. Oh, really quick, I want to tell you what an interval is because it's going to come up. An interval, there are numbers down at the bottom. Okay, so intervals are down at the bottom. I want you guys to look. Do you guys see a gap anywhere in this? Like where there is no data and then some data?
Yes.
Okay, tell your neighbor where you think the gap is at.
5 to 7.
Hey, everyone tell me, where is my gap? It's starting where?
5, 6, 7.
Good, so let's go ahead and write that down. So we have, our gap is between 5 and 7. Okay. That makes sense to you, right?
Yes.
All right, so you guys should be able to look at it and say, oh, here's a cluster, here's my group of data, here's my gap, there's my outlier, good. We're going to skip symmetry for 1 minute, and then we're going to talk about a peak, okay? The peak, it is the highest part of your data. When I had a student, in Mrs. Hewitt's class, and he said, oh, so your peak is like your mode. It's when you see the most. So remember, like when I hear the word peak, I think of a mountain, and a mountain has a peak. It's the tallest part, okay? And so, do I have a tallest part in my data?
Yes.
Is it an 8?
No.
No. Tell your partner where your peak is.
4.
Oh, that was really good. You just told me where. 4. So our peak is 4. Okay. So our last word up here is symmetry. Okay. So symmetry, it means equal or the same on both sides. So when we're looking at our data, there will be times where we have some symmetry and some where we absolutely do not, okay? So if you guys look at our dot plot right here, symmetry, it's like if you were to fold up your data in half, it would look similar on both sides, okay? If we were to fold up our fish in half, would it look similar on both sides? Is it similar on the right or on the left and on the right? No, it's not. But if we were to take our pets per home and fold it in half, like right at like 4.5, that's our middle. If we were to fold it in half, like 4.5-ish, 5-ish, would we have symmetry here?
No. Yes. A little bit.
Not perfect symmetry, not identical symmetry, but look at it. So if you look at our two end numbers, so it looks like they're a little bit on the lower side. They start out on the lower side. And then from the lower, what direction do we move up? Do we move up or down? Up. And then our next one, do we move up or down?
Down.
And then down. And then our last one, oh, I really should have one more on here. We're going to add it really fast. And then our last one, oh, right there. Sorry, guys. I totally missed one. Right there. Now it's closer to symmetry. You're like, no, this box doesn't look anything like. Okay, so we started with lower ones, then we moved up, then down, then up, then a gap. Do we agree with that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is Fox.
Yes.
I need Callie Lowe to get her stuff and come to the office. She's leaving.
Okay, thank you. Alyssa Lee will get her, please. Thank you. So this is an example of symmetry. It's not perfect symmetry, but it's still symmetry, okay? So now what I want everyone to do is I want you to take like 30 seconds and look at our histogram right here, okay? Our pets per home. I want you to identify any clusters that you would see, any gaps that you would see, and any peaks that you would see. So go ahead and take like 45 seconds to a minute and identify them with your partner. So I want you talking about it with your partner. You should be talking. You should be looking at what a gap is, what a cluster is.
Hi.
The peak would be 6 And once you are done, I want you to put your pencil on top of your head. Oh, but I can do it on top of my head.
How does that count?
Look, I'm a sheriff. Okay. Okay, I need everyone back with me in 5, 4, 3, thank you, 2, 1, and 0. Hey, do I have a cluster?
Yes.
Yes. Do I have 2 clusters?
Yes.
Can I have 2 clusters?
Yes.
Okay, so can someone give me my first cluster? Where's my first cluster in here? Kylie, tell me where my first one is.
1 through 4.
1 through 4, that's perfect. And everyone tell me, where's my second cluster?
6 through 9.
Good, 6 through 9, perfect. Okay, do I have any gaps in here?
Yes.
Tell me, where is my gap? Everyone tell me.
5.
5. And it's just 5. And then, do I have a peak?
Yes.
Where's my peak? 6. Beautiful. Okay. So now, like, this is the first part of your assignment today. It's being able to identify, clusters, gaps, peaks. But then there's the second part, and this is like the main part of your assignment. It's describing the data that you see on a graph. So I would say, I want you guys to describe this graph for me. But before you're like, oh my gosh, that is so hard, here are a couple of really good words that I included that you want to use. So when describing data, use words like, I want you to raise your hand if you see anything in our dot plot that increases. You could use the word increase to describe anything with our data. Do you see anything increase on our dot plot? Couple of hands. A couple of you can see something increase. Okay, raise your hand if you can see anything decrease in our dot plot. Yeah, I totally see something decreases. How about equal? Raise your hand if you see anything up there that's equal. Oh, good. More hands. How about more? Can anyone describe anything up there with the word more? How about less? Raise your hand if you could use the word outlier to describe something on this dot plot. I hope so. What about, where am I at? Oh, peak. Raise your hand if you could use the word peak. Yes. How about symmetry? Raise your hand if you could use symmetry. Raise your hand if you could use the word no symmetry. Oh yeah. Okay. What about cluster? Raise your hand if you could use cluster to describe it. How about gap? Okay, I'm going to give you 15 seconds to describe this graph. Tell your partner as many things as you can to describe this graph. Go.
Increases from 3 to 4. Then decreases from 4 to 8. And 2 and 3 are equal. The 1 is 1.
Oh, I like to. Okay, I need all eyes up here in 3, 2, 1, and 0. Ooh, that was really good. Riker, 10 class points, because that's the second time this has happened. Thank you. Hey, I need a couple. Oh, right there, 10 class points. I need a couple of people to share, and it's so hard to be wrong. That's what's really nice, because as long as you can see it, you can describe it. Can anyone describe what we see up here? Oh, really? 1 of you, 3 of you can describe anything you see up here. It is so easy. I have a very high confidence in your ability to do that. Jessica, tell me something you see up here in our dot plot. Gap. Can you say that in a sentence? Like the gap is where?
5, 6.
Yeah, so we have a gap that is at 5, 6, and 7. Perfect. What else can we see here? Alyssa. Both Alyssas. We're going to start with yellow Alyssa first. Yellow Alyssa.
Cluster.
Cluster. Tell me in a sentence.
Sorry, just say the numbers.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are the cluster. Good. Other Alyssa that's not yellow.
You can see increase.
Ooh, where do we see an increase on here?
2, 3, and 4.
Okay, so from 2 and 3, we see an increase when we move up to 4. Good. Let's do 2 more things that we see up here. Eric, tell me something you see.
Decrease.
Decrease. Where do we see a decrease, Eric?
2.
From 1 to 2, perfect. Serena, last one.
I see an outlier.
Oh, and Serena sees an outlier that is where?
8.
8, good. Yeah, so what I want everyone to do right now is to go ahead and list 4 things that you see, or 4 sentences to describe our dot plot right here. And I'm not writing 4 sentences, you are writing 4 sentences, because I want you to come up with what you see. Describe our dot plot about fish to us. Go. All right, Leo, my friend, go ahead and start copying down my math journal, please. That is mine. Thank you. Okay, hi.
What do we do? Like
4 sentences right here.
just like this.
The outlier is 8.
Okay, now I understand.
Okay. I'm gonna give you guys like 15 more seconds. We'll come back to it. 4. Okay, and what I want everyone to do right now is to look at the pets per home. I want you guys to go ahead and take, I want you guys to go ahead and take 30 seconds to come up with 5 things that you notice about pets per home. Go. And do you know what? I think that'll be good, Addison.